Hi everyone. So this video is a little bit of a continuation of Mondays, um, but not at the same time. This video is I just want to talk a little bit about the mind. One of the questions I get asked a lot um, is about the mind and about channeling, and I've titled this video, how to actively control your mind before someone else does. And this is really, it's a really powerful topic, and it's one of the key things that's really going to help just in a basic way in life. It's going to help individually, as a family, collectively, for the planet. And the reason why it's going to help is because what most of us don't realize is the capacity that we have with our mind, how utterly incredible it is, and how the body really is an extension of that mind. How before we even became physical, it was our higher mind, known as the higher self, which decided to create something into this holographic experience that we call planet Earth. And with that said and done, we came in with free will, and with that free will, we became very lazy. We became very lazy, and driven by our human impulses, our survival impulses, that part of our brain, that part of our survival kit, that is catered to keep the body alive, the body which houses the energy, right? Now, what's really interesting is we have very simple and easy ways to tame and manage our mind. The mind is like a hub, it's like a vase, even, being filled all the time with whatever is there, being filled with whatever water. You can see it even as like a windsock, you know. You ever see those windsock blowing in the fields, showing you which way the wind's going? It's kind of like that. That's what the mind kind of is. And until we learn to control it, whatever the breeze is going to be what we're thinking without even realizing, because we haven't controlled our mind. The mind is somewhat like a wild horse. This is how it was explained to me. The mind, by a Buddhist bhikkhu, the mind is like a wild animal. It's going to go here, there, and everywhere. It's not going to go where you tell it to, and you have to train it. And so, in this analogy that this bhikkhu shared with me, um, he was sharing that, if you tie a wild animal to a post, it's going to kick up a fuss. It's going to kick up a fuss. It's going to buck its legs and, make noise. But then day after day, after day after day, the more that you keep it to that post and you try and tame it, the more it will actually tame, the more it will settle. The mind is very similar. Now, when you wake up in the first thing in the morning, when you go to bed at night, that is the most programmable time. Your brain waves are slow enough, not slow as in dense, but slow as in relaxed enough, like in alpha mode when you awaken, for you to actually program something. So that's why a practice of gratitude is so important. But when we get through the day, we start to shift from alpha into beta mode, and then all our energy is going really, really quick. We can even start to get a little bit frantic or anxious, or kind of trying to do a million things at once and not actually allowing ourselves to rest and relax enough to receive the nourishment that we need. So then we find ourselves getting drained. We also can find that we become very open to subliminal hypnotics. Now, the world around us is continuously hypnotizing us, whether it's the marketing and the adverts, whether it's the things that we hear, whether it's the collective titter-tatter on the street, regardless as to what the community is that you're in, there is no one exempt from tuning into something that doesn't serve the highest good and getting caught up in it and kind of almost going down that rabbit hole. What's really interesting though is we have to be able to find a way to recognize when the mind is going a million miles an hour, and also recognize when we're not in control of those thoughts. So that's why a simple and easy practice such as meditation, we have such resistance to it. I hear all the time, I can't meditate. Well, you've not practiced, really. I can't do a somersault yet, but if I practice enough, I'll be able to do one day. You're not just born able to do something, it is a practice. But it's really powerful, it's really cool. And one of the meditation practices that the Buddhist was teaching us was what I've shared with many of you before, is an anapana meditation. It's where you're focused on where the breath physically enters and exits the body. Literally, like you're breathing in and out through the nose. Don't worry about anything else. Try and sit still. And you're doing that for 15 minutes a day. And if you do that for 15 minutes a day, even just that, because of your focus, you are literally training your mind. You're taming your mind. Now, what happens when you tame your mind? And this is where it gets interesting. This is where a lot of people ask about channeling. There are lots of people, I mean, we're all channels. We can all channel. But what are you channeling? Are you channeling the collective stream of consciousness that is kind of higgledy-piggledy and a little bit cloudy? Or are you channeling your higher self? Are you receiving? See, it really should be called two different things. You know, are you tuning in to what is happening collectively, or are you opening that beautiful vase up here? Are you opening your crown, that 1,000-petal lotus? Are you opening it to receive this divine inspiration to drop in and to percolate through your body? Are you open enough? Are you relaxed enough? If we're not relaxed, it doesn't matter what it is that we're attracting. It's already here anyway. All the stuff that we want is here. We just can't help it physicalize. We can't help it actualize because of our mind. So this is the thing, if the mind is going too quick, then it's important to rest. You know, it's okay to allow yourself to be sleepy, to relax. Like when you get sleepy, that is your body saying, too much energy is leaving, too much energy is being controlled here. You're not in control of it, so I'm going to make you feel sleepy. The body's going, we need to go to sleep right now because the mind needs to reset. Body doesn't really get tired. It's the mind inside it that gets tired when the energy isn't going the right way. When the energy isn't circulating and staying within the complete circuit, when it's pouring out, static here, pouring out there, perforated field there. So we want to be able to start to control our minds a little bit more. And for anyone that is wanting to channel and even directly channel, you have to learn to control your mind. You have to learn to control the frequency of it, whether it's in beta, alpha, theta, delta. You have to learn how to do that and practice it. It's a discipline, right? It's a discipline. Because when you are able to observe as well, when you start to observe your own thoughts, and that's what you do in meditation. You're breathing in, you're breathing out, you're breathing in, you're breathing out. You're focused on one physical point, and then, your mind has gone somewhere else. Half of it's still here, focused on this breath point. The other part of it's gone somewhere else. And go, just observing that thought. How interesting. Is that my thought? Is that someone else's thought? Does it really matter? Guess not, but do I want to think that thought? Does it feel good? Oh, that thought doesn't feel good. So you know what? I'm just going to invite my body to think of something else, to focus on something else. Because that's what you're really training in meditation. You're training to focus. You're training to choose, to have choice. Everyone on this planet wants freedom. Guess what? It comes first in your mind. Because if we aren't able and we don't find it is important enough to find the strength to have the discipline to sit still for 15 minutes, everyone can do it. Yet in this world, in this particular age, there is more and more conditions and labels that are telling us why we don't have to do it. And guess what? That's just an untamed mind again. But you are watching this video because you know that you want more. You know that you are meant to be able to do more. You know that you're in control of your life. And to be in control of your life and your creations, you have to be in control of your mind. Not always easy, definitely not. But if you start to tame your mind, you become more authentic to yourself, you become more courageous. You start to face truths that you haven't wanted to face before, and in so doing, you let them go. You let them fly free, release them, creating space. When you can create space within your body, when you can create space within your mind, when you can meet with a thought and go, I'm not even going to try and possess you, but I am going to invite you to leave. But I like that thought over there, so you can stay. You can keep going around for a little bit. That's a lot of fun to think of that. That feels good. I'm going to carry on thinking that thought. You carry on. This thought here, doesn't serve, doesn't feel good. And if it doesn't feel good, then we don't want it in the body, because when things that don't feel good are in the body, we leave them there long enough, it becomes emotional. We leave that there long enough, it becomes physical. We don't have to let it get to that stage. We start with the mind. What also happens if we leave thoughts that don't feel good in our body is our body constricts and restricts. If it constricts, energy can't flow through. If energy can't flow through, you can't create, you can't actualize. You want the abundance is there. It's non-physically there. Literally like these rays of light in the background, right there. And then you bring it down, you let it actualize. So if you do anything as we go into Libra season, as we go into this air season, this air sign of the zodiac, let it inspire you to rebirth your mind. Let it inspire you to rebalance, to let yourself receive, to let yourself notice the things that feel good. Let yourself know the value that you have, the worth that you have, and show yourself through how you choose to manage and master your mind. I did a workshop on this last year. You can actually find it on the replay section on my website. It's called Mastering Your Mind to Consciously Create. I highly recommend it for anyone that is looking to understand a little bit more about the mind. But in the meantime, I'm going to send you all so much love, so many blessings. Have a beautiful equinox. Hope you all had a beautiful eclipse. And I will see you on a workshop soon, no doubt. Or even a live appointment. We have live appointments available, so you're welcome to book. So much love. Bye now.